as we have chronicled the early days of the ministry of Jesus Christ, from the time that he goes down to the Jordan River and he's baptized of John and the heavens open. The voice of God declares, "This is my beloved Son," and a heavenly dove, comes down to affirm this beginning of ministry for his Son Jesus. We talked about the wilderness experience. We talked about him going to the synagogue and taking up the scroll and reading, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me." And we find those truths from the book of Matthew and the book of Luke. But over in the book of Mark, in the first chapter, we find that as he begins to preach in the countryside, or in Galilee and different areas, and then it says he came to Capernaum. And on the Sabbath day, he entered into the synagogue and taught. And the scripture says, and they were astonished at his doctrine, because he taught them as one that had authority, not as the scribes, it says. And there in the synagogue, it tells us, was a man with an unclean spirit. And he cried out, saying, "Let us alone. What have we to do with thee, Jesus of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee, and whom thou art, the Holy One of God." Now, this is what fascinates me about this, is that these devils, they recognized who Jesus Christ was. And they were saying, "Have you come to deal with us?" What amazes me about it is that there are people who are living in times of darkness and torment in their own lives, and they're going through these dark times, and these clouds are just over their lives, and someone would say, "Well, perhaps you should pray about this situation in your life. Or perhaps maybe you'd like to attend a church service or talk to a pastor." And they would just say, "No, I don't need anything with that. I don't have any need for a church or prayer or all of those things." And somehow or another, they think that they're going to be able to work their way through this through their own carnal ability. And I would simply say to this, I said, "Well, how's this worked out so far?" And to realize that these demonic beings could recognize God and the authority of God. But so often, us humans, we don't have that ability. And of course, we realize that what they're dealing with in a life that is destructive, in a life that is just falling apart, we know that there's activity of Satan involved in all of this, because he is destructive. That's what he does. But yet, there's hope. And there was hope with Christ, because Christ dealt with the devils and he cast them out. And he brought cleansing to their lives. And that's what Jesus does. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel of the radio broadcast.